Are you or a loved one experiencing lack of sleep, aggression, wasting computer ink, or terrible pics? You might be suffering from symptoms of March Madness. Lucky for you, doctors recommend you watch Courts in Session for immediate relief.
And it starts right now.
And your Temple!
Come one, come all to our final Courts in Session episode of the regular season. I'm Josh Saffron and she's Sage Hurley. I am so ready for that college basketball tournament that happens to happen in March.
We might be facing a case of March Madness, but before we get into all things tournament time, let's talk about how the women fared in their doubleheader against the Tigers.
Not quite senior night, but in all likelihood, Mia Davis's final game on Broad. The Owls take on Memphis for their second game in a row, and Jaysha Clinton, silky smooth. Temple leapt out to an 8-0 lead early, but a circus pass from Ariel Wilson finds her teammate Alana Davis, who gets the easy two. Jaysha Clinton knocks down the triple. She went 3 of 7 from beyond and led the game in scoring with 23. And oh, did I forget to mention? 8 steals! Clinton going coast to coast and doing it all. Memphis flipped the switch and even took the lead in the third quarter. However, Temple outscored their opponents 21-6 in the fourth quarter with the and one from Jaysha Clinton. Talk about a good way to close out the year. Owls win 66-52.
Days earlier, same team, same arena at Temple for Senior Day, but it was a junior who stole the show. Alexa Williamson recorded a career high of 29 points for the Owls. Temple scored more points in the first half than they did the entire game over the weekend at UCF. Some Mayo Twins Senior Day stats for you. Amani notched a season high of 14 points, and Nicolette knocked down her second career 3. The Owls started the series with the win, 89-66. The next time we'll see the women take to the court is the long-awaited AAC Conference Tournament. It starts Monday, March 8th, but the Owls are locked into number 5, securing a first-round bye.
After a year off, I absolutely can't wait to look at that field of 64. But however, as of today, we do have a field of 10 to look at. The seeding for the AAC Women's Tournament is all but set in stone, and it feels refreshing to know someone other than UConn will hoist the trophy for the first time in the conference's history.
Yes, the Huskies' absence in the conference leaves the title up for grabs, but who will come out on top? Josh and I have some ideas.
That's right, and I'm going to rattle through my picks for this year's Women's AAC Tournament. Let's start at the beginning. USF, no question. They easily handle Wichita. Now, we got Cincinnati going against Memphis. Come on, I don't think that one's close. Give it to Cincinnati. And the last one, Houston against ECU. I think Houston mops the floor with the Pirates. Now let's get to our ladies, the Temple Owls. I think they do. They handle Tulane. They take care of business there. And I will take you one step further. We saw how well they played against USF already. This time they seal the deal. They upset USF. That'll put them into the championship game. Now let's look at the other side here. I got Jekyll and Hyde, Cincinnati, showing up in full force and upsetting Houston. And that's going to set up a Temple versus Cincinnati championship. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm saying it. Temple University is going to win the Women's AAC Conference Championship. Mia Davis has had too good of a career here to finish without one tournament appearance. It happens this year. You heard it here first. Go ahead, Sage, all you.
Listen, just like Josh, I'm a Temple hopeful, and optimism is my middle name. But I don't think the team has more than one big upset win in them this time around. The Florida teens have been dominating this season, and I'm confident at least one of them will compete for the title. I think Mia Davis will be at the top of her game in her final few for the Owls, but if it comes down to Temple and UCF in the end, my money's on UCF.
For the men, the regular season started late, and now it's ending early. Owls were set to tip off last Saturday against the Knights of Central Florida till a positive test came out of the Temple program. Positive test last week forced the Owls into a quarantine, which led to the cancellation of their final 2 games of the regular season. That game last Saturday versus UCF, and also this coming Saturday's game versus Wichita State. And with a win against USF Saturday night, Wichita State can shock their doubters and clinch the regular season AAC title after being picked 7th in the preseason polls. For Temple, they're locked into the 9th spot in the conference, meaning they'll face off against USF in the first round of the conference tournament next Thursday at 11 a.m.
It's that time again. Welcome back to Judge and Jury. Last week, Josh represented the AAC, arguing that in a normal season, the conference would be sending 4 teams to the big dance. Josh, what did the people say?
Well, it looks like we're the voice of the people as the people ruled in our favor for the 5th consecutive week with 61% of the vote agreeing with my 4 teams charge. However, my time for talking is up, and Sage, you may take the floor.
I'm going to continue to build that case for the AAC this week, and it might be the March Madness getting to me again, but I'm making the claim against the NCAA tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, court's in session. Yes, my charge, the NCAA should increase the number of teams in the tournament by 32. Math isn't my strong suit, but by my calculations, that means that in 2021, March Madness should have 96 teams. Think about it. The season has been like no other. Why shouldn't the tournament have to adapt like the teams and players did this year? Here's my evidence, Exhibit 1 if you will. Thanks to COVID, the AAC was only able to play about 72% of its games this season. The other 28% were canceled. This 72% for the AAC is the 3rd lowest out of the 31 conferences in the nation. In a competitive race to Selection Sunday, games played is essential. Teams can't bulk up the resume if they aren't playing. It's not the AAC's fault that these games were canceled due to COVID. So to level the playing field and to help find a true champion, open the doors this year to more teams. Don't punish schools from the AAC for not being able to finish their regular season. The charge, to even the playing field for conferences controlled by COVID, the NCAA should add 32 teams to the mix for a field of 96 teams. The top 32 get that first round bye. Let us know what you think on Twitter for this week's Judge and Jury. We'll have the results next Friday.
Sage, you really got me thinking now. Since there was no March Madness last year, why stop at 32? Let's add 64 to make up for the 2020 tournament void, have 124 teams in March Madness. At this time of the year, us analysts are looking for any kind of statistic to give us an edge. How about this stat? Courts in Session only covers 15% of Temple athletics this month. If you want the other 85%, you can tune in to our sports briefs on Monday, Alex's Pass on Tuesday, and the flagship show, Owl Sports Update, every Thursday at noon.
I think we can chalk this final regular season show as a win. Welcome to March, everyone. For Josh Safran, I'm Sage Hurley. See you next week.